So the first thing we're going to talk about here on this edition of the MVP show is that we just had in baseball, we just had the Major League Baseball winter meetings where all the GMs came together and spoke for a couple days, exchanged players, talk about trades, and the biggest trade of them all from this winter meetings has to be the New York Yankees acquiring Giancarlo Stanton, the former National League Most Valuable Player from the Miami Marlins, in exchange for Starlin Castro and two young single-A prospects. So this is really a blockbuster deal for the Yankees because the Marlins had no choice but to get rid of Giancarlo Stanton. They were, Derek Jeter and his entire ownership group who takes over the Marlins franchise is about $400 million in debt, and $295 of those $400 million is owed to Giancarlo Stanton. So the Marlins decided without hesitation to look for the best deal, and they found the New York Yankees. And so the Yankees, all they get is Giancarlo Stanton, and they also get about $30 million to help pay off Giancarlo Stanton's contract. So what does this mean for the Yankees? Well, what this means is that their lineup is so much more talented than it was before. The Yankees didn't really need to acquire Stanton for any reason, but this certainly helps. This makes their lineup even more intimidating, and now you think about, okay, so who's going to lead off? Most likely you're going to have Brett Gardner leading off. In my opinion, I have Aaron Hicks batting second, then I put Judge batting third, then Stanton fourth, then I would have Gary Sanchez fifth, Bird sixth, Didi seventh, and then, obviously we don't know how it's going to go with regards to the DH as well as third base because the Yankees already traded away Chase Headley to the Padres for a minor league prospect. So the Yankees have also been rumored to possibly acquire Manny Machado, but it doesn't seem like that's most likely going to happen. The only way as of right now that it was reported by Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic was that the Chicago White Sox would acquire Manny Machado in a trade and then flip him and give him to the Yankees in exchange for top prospects from the Yankees organization. So really, this is kind of a crazy scenario for the Yankees. But right now, I think at this point, all the Yankees need to do is focus on pitching. They need to get at least one or two young pitchers that can come in and make a difference right off the bat. Because as of right now, the Yankees pitching staff is based with Masahiro Tanaka, Luis Severino, Sonny Gray, and then possibly Chase Adams, and also Justice Sheffield as well. But there's a chance that the Yankees could go out. It has been reported that the Yankees are in the midst of possibly having a deal done with the Pittsburgh Pirates in exchange for Garrett Cole. So obviously that would be a huge deal for the Yankees, who are still trying to get themselves prepared for what they hope to be a World Series type of year. Now, whether or not the Yankees decide to get Manny Machado in a trade this year or wait till next offseason, at this point it really doesn't matter. I think what the Yankees should do is allow, some of the younger players to come in and make some noise and really give some of these younger players a chance to make and give themselves an opportunity to have some success in the major leagues. So really the Yankees with, in my opinion, the strongest farm system in the major leagues. This is certainly not a time to be panicking, but at the same time, the Yankees do have a great lineup on paper. But if it starts struggling and the pitching staff doesn't get going, the Yankees could be in a hole very, very quickly. So we shall see what happens as we get closer and closer to the beginning of spring training and see if the Yankees decide to make any more moves to get closer. Next thing we're going to talk about here is we're going to shift to soccer, and Neymar Jr., as I mentioned, if you had a chance to see the live show from Felicia just before Thanksgiving, Neymar was reported to be in talks of possibly transferring after this season from Paris Saint-Germain and go to Real Madrid. Now, it has been reported earlier today that Neymar is very serious about wanting to go to Real Madrid on a record-breaking, as he quoted, a record-breaking deal. So I think all in all what you see that Neymar most likely is using PSG as a way to get out of Barcelona and be allowed to go to Real Madrid without any of the crazy things. So I think all in all, Neymar wanted to go to Real Madrid very badly, and he's showing it right now. It's disappointing for all the PSG fans that most likely he's only going to be here for 1 year, and that's going to be the end of it. But I'm sure that the whole football club of PSG and their fans, I think they understood the situation and put it that way. So if Real Madrid is able to get Neymar on a transfer offer, this would make Real Madrid one of the top favorites to win the Champions League, and clearly the favorites to win La Liga in Spain. They would definitely be the New York Yankees of soccer, which, I mean, in some cases they already are, because they have the best player in the world, in my opinion, in Cristiano Ronaldo already there, and now you're going to add Neymar, possibly the second or third best player in the world. This is something that's really, really huge for soccer, because a lot of people are always interested in seeing the big moves that could happen from time to time and seeing where everything goes. So the bottom line is that it's going to be very interesting to see what goes on here in the next couple of months. I think if PSG is serious about trying to keep Neymar here for as long as they can, they need to make a big long run, as they still are in the Champions League. They need to make a big long run and then possibly even win the Champions League, and they have to dominate in League One, which I think they'll most likely do, regardless of the fact of how they might have been having some struggles in the last couple of weeks. So we shall see what happens in the next couple of months. In my opinion, I think Neymar will be going to Real Madrid at the end of this season, but only time will tell, and it's going to be very interesting. So next thing I want to talk about here is that this upcoming week and for the next couple of weeks, we have one of the football's favorite times of the year, and that is the college football bowl games. There's so many to think of, but the games I want to talk about real quickly are the college football playoff games. First off, we have the Rose Bowl between number 2 Oklahoma and number 3 Georgia. So that's going to be on New Year's Day. And then we also have the Sugar Bowl between number 1 Clemson and number 4 Alabama, a rematch of the last 2 college football playoff national championships. So talking about the Rose Bowl, it's kind of interesting. This year, for the first time, the CFP does not have a single Big Ten team in it. Obviously, Ohio State got screwed. To some people's opinions, they got screwed getting in, and they put Alabama in front of them. But nonetheless, Alabama's in it, and the Rose Bowl is going to be between Oklahoma and Georgia. Obviously, the storyline is going to be Baker Mayfield, who is now the Heisman Trophy winner, versus Jake Fromm, who's the true freshman starting quarterback. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring offensive affair. I think the Rose Bowl always is an entertaining type of game, and I think it's going to be really, really fun to watch. In my opinion, I'm going to say that Oklahoma's going to win this one 38-28. I think it's going to come down to, there's going to be one big defensive play, whether it's from Oklahoma or Georgia. Most likely, I'm going to say it's going to be Oklahoma. But nonetheless, I think that that's what's going to happen in this situation. And now talking about the Sugar Bowl, this is kind of an intriguing one, because Clemson now comes in as the number 1 team, and they take on Alabama, who, if Auburn hadn't lost in the SEC title game, might not even be in the top 4 at all. So really, in some cases, some people might say that Alabama got lucky that they're in the top 4. But in my opinion, and I've talked to several people and they agree, that Alabama is the best team in college football, by far. They definitely deserve to be in the Final Four, and I think that it's just going to come down to how are they going to come out against Clemson. They're obviously, in my opinion, the underdogs going into this Sugar Bowl that's going to be happening in New Orleans, and I think you just got to see. Alabama is a machine. I call them the machine because they have top 5 prospects all over the board. Even their third-string guys are top 5 prospects. I mean, these guys will be starting anywhere else, but they choose to come to Alabama and come to a prestigious football school. Clearly the number 1 football school in the country. And it's just kind of crazy to think about just how one loss can dictate people's opinions on you. But I think if Alabama is able to win and win convincingly over Clemson and then eventually go on and win a national championship, it'll definitely prove that it doesn't matter where you really put Alabama in the top 4. As long as they're in the top 4, they are the surefire favorites to go on and win the whole thing. So going back to my prediction, I think, as I mentioned before, I said that Oklahoma would beat Georgia 38-28. I think Baker Mayfield will put on a show. I think he has a chance to possibly become the number 1 quarterback going into the 2018 NFL Draft. And I think that, obviously the Giants should consider drafting him, but we're not going to get into that just yet. But talking about the Sugar Bowl, as much as I want to favor Alabama, I think it's going to be a close victory by Clemson. I think Clemson really proved something to me. I've been very critical of them the last couple of weeks about how they have not played anybody. Then they go out and they take on Miami, and they absolutely obliterate them all over the field. They kick absolute mofo ball up and down the entire field for all 60 minutes. And now they're going to come in with a lot of A lot of momentum. They are the defending national champions. It's going to be interesting what the quarterback for Clemson, Bryant, is able to do because he's similar to Deshaun Watson. Very athletic, has a strong arm, can really move the ball down the field. Clemson has really changed their offense this year. They're a little bit more up-tempo. They love to move the ball a lot more and a lot faster. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all goes down. So I'm really looking forward to both of these games. Again, both of these games are going to be on New Year's Day, so make sure you get a chance to check out them. Both of them will be on ESPN. The Rose Bowl will be starting at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. on the West Coast since it's in Pasadena, California at the Rose Bowl Stadium. And the Sugar Bowl will be from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, and that game is going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern, also on ESPN. So that is the college football playoff Final Fours, and hopefully if you get a chance to see this on my show either this week or hopefully next week, I will go over the rest of the college football bowl games. There's certainly a lot, 41 in total. That's the crazy thing. There's 41 total games. Think about it. That's 82 different teams that are going to be competing in a bowl game this year. And it's really, really going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys get a chance to take a look at that. And I know I certainly am, but it's going to be a lot of fun. The last thing I want to talk about here on this first segment is I want to talk about the development of Ben Simmons of the Philadelphia 76ers. It seems like every game he's getting better and better and better. And I think, in a way, in kind of a funny way, him getting injured and missing out the entire rookie season, even though technically he is a rookie this year, but missing out the entire season last year, kind of gave him a lot of benefit. You got to give him some benefit of the doubt that he's had a year to watch this team and understand what makes them good, what makes them bad, and how he can improve and make himself better. And he worked hard, he got himself back, and now, in my opinion, he's the surefire favorite to go on and win the NBA Rookie of the Year. And I think if the Sixers can get on a roll at some point, they will definitely be a playoff contender. I think that they could make the playoffs. Whether or not how long they go into the playoffs, remains to be seen. But I think this Sixers team, especially with all the young talent that they have now with Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, everything, I think it's going to be great to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. Only time will tell. I'm certain that it's going to be interesting, and I hope you guys get a chance to watch Ben Simmons because he really is the real deal. We're going to take our first commercial break, but when we come back, we have another handful of topics that we have to get through. So I hope you guys stick around and take a look and tune into that. So we'll see when we get back here on the MVP Show.